Innovate, accelerate, move technology forward. The startup revolution is now.
Hi, I'm Alali Santos, Head of PH Operations and Special Projects at Xendit. Welcome to Philippine Startup Week 2022. I wanted to start my presentation with this introduction. Right now, merchants in Southeast Asia continue to expand their digital payment options, and this trend is poised to grow at accelerated rates over the years. Innovations in the payments industry continue to bring additional value to merchants by creating a seamless customer experience, and payments continue to be a big part of the digital first customer journey. Next slide, please. Who is Xendit? Xendit is one of the fastest growing payments infrastructure in Southeast Asia and committed to strengthening its presence in the Philippines, in Indonesia, and in Southeast Asia. Currently one of the largest payments players in the country, Xendit enables businesses to accept payments, disburse payroll, run marketplaces, and more. With a single integration, Xendit allows businesses to accept various payment methods, ranging from direct debit, e-wallets, card payments, over the counter, and among others. With its hyper localized approach in modernizing the payment infrastructure in the Philippines, Xendit continues to help Filipino SMEs, enterprises, and startups. Next slide, please. We are not just a payment gateway in Southeast Asia. We are also servicing a lot of these companies for their digital solutions. And this actually spans across all industries, including travel, logistics, and even financial services. Some of these logos might be familiar to you. Some are regional and some are local. And some of them are future unicorns in the Philippine startup scene. Next slide, please. With over 1,000 talents working from anywhere in the world, Xendit continues to invest on product and technology to provide world-class solutions. Next slide. This is our overall mission in the Philippines and beyond, to create digital infrastructure for the first time in the Philippines. With a very unique market, we make sure that we are optimizing for both regional scalability and hyperlocalization. Fintech is an important piece of the digital ecosystem, and Xendit is here to build the roads and highways to support businesses. Next slide, please. I wanted to start with the current state of payments in Southeast Asia. Next slide. As we can see here, the most popular payment methods in Southeast Asia, it can vary across all markets. But right now, traditional payment products such as card payments and bank transfers are still the most popular payment methods. But we've seen the rise of alternative payment methods with the rise of the likes of GCash, PayMaya, and GrabPay, taking on a bigger share of the pie. Next slide, please. I wanted to zoom in a bit into Indonesia, our core market and where we started. What we're seeing in Indonesia is that the biggest payment volumes come from virtual accounts. And based on shopper preferences, customers prefer to use e-wallets when paying online. Going to the Philippines, next slide, please. This is how shoppers pay right now. We've seen the popularity of retail outlet channels and over-the-counter payments. E-wallets are also becoming a very popular method right now, given the growth on the merchant base and the customer base using this, especially during the pandemic. Next slide. Now that we've seen the past, we are seeing also the future, the present and the future state of payments in the Philippines and in Southeast Asia. And I would like to introduce a payment product wherein Xendit was the first to introduce this to the market, direct debit. Next slide. I wanted to share this product and how we started the journey in the Philippines. When we say direct debit, we actually picture traditional auto debit solutions. You go to the branch, you go to a bank, you authorize and instruct your bank teller to pay for your credit card bills or probably your utilities for power and water. But then this requires manually instructing the branch and physically going to the bank to authorize transactions. In Zendit's case, direct debit actually changes the way how we use bank accounts by providing a seamless way to pull funds without having to do any manual processes. Or if you buy from your favorite Instagram store, you need to send a screenshot of your bank transfer, which is not very scalable. Next slide, please. This is a case study of how Grab and Xendit actually worked together in 2019. In 2019, Grab approached Xendit to help them build direct debit, and Xendit was able to launch it in 2020, being the first ever to market this in partnership with one of the biggest banks in the Philippines, BPI. Before Xendit, the payment methods in your Grab application would only allow you to use your Visa or MasterCard cards or probably an online bank transfer. But after Xendit launched this together with Grab, we were able to introduce a way for you to link your bank account to your Grab application, enabling you to authorize it once and then be able to top up continuously. Given that during the pandemic, Grab played a huge part in terms of logistics, in terms of delivering services for food or for logistics. This is a very important component in making sure that merchants and buyers are able to interact seamlessly. Next slide, please. In terms of the success and growth story of how we did it after launching with GrabPay, we were able to do a lot of linking in terms of bank accounts and enabling more than 175,000 transactions in a month. And with this use case, we are able to add more channels aside from BPI, like Union Bank, RCBC, even China Bank as well, to make sure that our customers and our merchants are able to link their bank accounts, not just to top up GrabPay wallets, but to actually have another use case in terms of paying online. Next slide, please. Another trend or another experiment that I want to highlight is actually banking as a service. Next slide, please. Zooming in into the future, I wanted to share some exciting innovation and experiments that change the way traditional payment gateways work, banking as a service. Next slide, please. Xendit's goal is to continue to build what customers want. And another emerging solution that businesses can take advantage of is banking as a service. This allows merchants and to be able to utilize our APIs as an end-to-end solution for all their financial management needs beyond just collecting and disbursing payments. Next slide, please. Even if Xendit started as a payment gateway, offering a complete suite of payments and collections services, this allows all the merchants to actually be able to control their funds flow, be able to accept payments and money transfers, and avail of advanced financial features such as interest-bearing accounts or loan services or payment operations. And this allows also financial institutions to be able to reach more customers through our merchant base. Next slide, please. Now diving into regional payments and expansion. Xendit's story started in Indonesia, expanded in the Philippines during the pandemic, and it continues to actually expand in Southeast Asia. The story behind this growth actually started during the pandemic, and after that, we continued to grow and scale. Next slide, please. These are the learnings in our regional expansion story. Operating in a very fragmented market challenges Xendit to continue working on builds that would be scalable in the region, but also incorporating a hyper-local approach. to make sure we adjust to the market needs. In Indonesia and the Philippines, we have built payment methods based on what customers are using and complemented it using offline and online channels. Xendit's expansion in the Philippines allowed us to thrive and to scale. In expanding to other markets, we learned that it's a combination of three pillars: hyperlocalization, keeping economies of scale when building and striking the right partnerships with key players in the market, launching products that actually solve problems and pain points will actually drive growth. As you build your team and products on the ground, it's imperative to create an ecosystem of strategic partners and builders. Next slide, please. What we learned, plus the importance of digital transformation. Xendit services businesses of all sizes, enterprises, startups, SMEs, and even the micro SMEs. And as we grow, we also learn from these customers and how Xendit is becoming the accelerator of their digital transformation pivot, especially during the pandemic. And these are the key four learnings that we wanted to share with you. One, you need to tap into a new market of digital shoppers. And a lot of people would actually have mobile phones. And in terms of your e-commerce website, for you to be able to reach out to a bigger customer base, you need to be able to offer them a lot of options in terms of payment channels. Second, we need to adopt the new normal shopping experience. And a lot of those pain point or friction would actually come from the lack of a good user experience. Third, improve your value chain. As we digitize your manual processes from your supply chain, from your sourcing from your vendors, and then processing your payment collections and invoicing, you need to be able to automate a lot of those processes for you to be able to operate efficiently. Lastly, in terms of customer acquisition, you need to be able to bring your brand online and provide more avenues for your customers to reach you, may it be through digital marketing or social ads or affiliate marketing and influencer marketing. For Xendit, we learned that we cannot just do direct contracting with our merchants. By building strategic partnerships with our resellers and partners, we are able to tap a bigger base through a wholesale approach. Next slide, please. I think in terms of what we're seeing right now, the mission still continues even after 3 years. And a lot of the businesses and financial services institutions are actually looking into programs to cater to the underserved and underbanked. In our case, as we do the B2B approach of getting more merchants to participate in the digital economy, we have actually crafted a very specific program for us to acquire SMEs and startups. We understand that we need to be able to address the unique challenges that SMEs face in terms of getting access to payment solutions and fintech services. And it's very important for small businesses to be able to partake in this new normal by democratizing payments and providing them an alternative way for them to access these solutions. And Xendit also actually came up with a lot of programs for startups and small businesses. Next slide, please. In terms of the customer base that we have right now, from big clients such as Paymaya, Grab, Belize, to medium-sized businesses, and also down to the SMEs and micro SMEs, we make sure that we also tailor fit our solutions and onboarding experience depending on their size. Next slide, please. Some of our key programs that we are very proud to share is our VC program. This is intended for Filipino startups on their pre-seed or Series A round, and are new to Xendit customers, that allows them to be able to experiment, integrate, and use Xendit solutions and services for free. So this one allows them to have a free transaction fee waivers for up to 100,000 US dollars for 1 year. And we also allow them to have access to all out of our marketing channels and reach more customers. This is our way of actually giving back to the community that we have built here in the Philippines. Next slide, please. In terms of making sure that the SMEs are also included, we are able to launch a lot of programs for them, specifically for SMEs and MSMEs in the Philippines to address their pain points. A lot of them wouldn't be able to complete, for example, onboarding documents for them to access channels in terms of banking, in terms of other payment gateways. But with these programs, such as the Level Up program, for example, that allows an SME to sign up using Xendit and be able to tap into the 3.5 million pesos worth of waived transaction fees for free. In terms of campaigns, we are not just a payment gateway. So we want to be able to make sure that they also have access to value added services that would enable them to promote their businesses. So the Discarding Summer campaign, for example, enabled entrepreneurs and individual businesses on Viber, on Instagram, or on Facebook marketplaces to get started on their businesses and see how easy it is with Xendit by making sure that they can also win, for example, tools for their businesses or business coaching and mentoring or influencer shout outs. These are the little things that would actually complement the payment gateway services that we initially offer to these businesses. Next slide, please. I think with these tailor-fitted programs for the SMEs, we want to make sure that the simple implementation of payment products would be maximized by these businesses. And we want to eliminate the cost barrier for SMEs to partake in this economy. And I think the best type of marketing is word of mouth. As we create a community of these business owners to help one another go online, I think we learn from each other and we're able to tap into the insights of bigger businesses and increase the exposure of and reach of these customers. I think this is the last slide. And I wanted to thank you for listening and to know more about Xendit. Next slide, please. To know more about Xendit and to learn about our mission to build digital infrastructure for the first time in the Philippines, let's connect and reach out through this QR code. And thank you for listening. Have a nice day.